What if the universe has been trying to get your attention, but you've been too distracted to notice? What if the signs you've been waiting for weren't hidden? They were right in front of you this whole time. That gut feeling you ignored, that same pattern repeating in your life, that moment when everything fell apart. What if none of it was random? What if it was all leading you somewhere? We think life speaks in lightning and thunder, but the truth is, it whispers. And those whispers, the fatigue, the pain, the coincidences, they're not accidents, they're messages. Messages saying, it's time to stop running, to stop doubting, to finally listen. Because maybe the sign you've been waiting for isn't coming tomorrow. Maybe it's this very moment right here, right now. What if the universe has been whispering to you all along, but you were too busy to listen? Think about it. We expect warnings to come as alarms, as breakdowns, as something loud enough to shake us awake. But what if the truth is, life doesn't shout at first, it whispers, that uneasy feeling in your stomach when you walk into a place that doesn't feel right, that tiny hesitation before you say yes to something you don't actually want, that quiet voice inside that says, this isn't it. You call it overthinking, you call it fear. But what if it's a signal, a whisper from the universe trying to protect you before the storm hits? We live in a world that celebrates noise, notifications, opinions, deadlines, everyone's shouting, everything's urgent, and silence feels uncomfortable. But in that chaos, we forget that truth doesn't scream. It waits in the stillness, hoping you'll notice it before it's too late. And when you keep ignoring those soft warnings, the fatigue, the doubt, the gut instinct, life doesn't stay quiet forever. It gets louder. The job you knew wasn't right starts draining you completely. The relationship that didn't feel safe starts breaking you piece by piece. The friendship that felt fake finally exposes itself. The whisper becomes a storm. You see, the universe doesn't punish you for missing the sign. It just keeps turning up the volume until you finally hear it. The sadness you brushed aside becomes depression. The stress you laughed off becomes burnout. The tension in your chest becomes panic. These are not random moments of pain. They are consequences of ignoring the gentle nudge that came long before. What if right now something inside you has already been whispering? Maybe it's been weeks, months, or years. That thought that says you deserve better. That gut feeling that says this isn't where you belong. That urge to change, to leave, to start again. What if that isn't fear at all, but your inner guidance, your higher self, your sign? The question isn't whether the universe is speaking to you. The question is, will you finally stop and listen before the whisper turns into a scream? What if the exhaustion you feel every single day isn't just tiredness, but a cry for help from your soul? You wake up, drag yourself through the motions and tell yourself you were just busy or lazy, but deep down you know it's something else. That constant fatigue, that emptiness that no amount of sleep or coffee can fix. It's not normal. It's your inner self whispering you're not where you're meant to be. What if the reason you feel drained isn't because you're doing too much, but because you're doing the wrong thing? There's a difference between being tired and being empty. When your soul is aligned with your purpose, even exhaustion feels meaningful. But when it's not, even rest feels like work. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up feeling heavy. You can laugh with people and still feel alone. You can succeed, be praised, be admired, and yet something inside feels hollow. That's not laziness. That's your spirit slowly breaking from pretending to be okay. We live in a world where burnout is glorified and numbness is normalized. You're told to push through, to grind harder, to stay grateful. But what if your body, your mind, and your soul are screaming for you to stop, to breathe, to change direction, and you're calling that weakness? The truth is, emotional fatigue is the universe's most ignored alarm. It's that silent signal saying you're not living your truth. The more you suppress it, the louder it gets. It turns into overthinking, anxiety, apathy, a slow disconnection from everything that once made you feel alive. What if the reason you can't find motivation isn't because you've lost discipline, but because you've lost meaning? You're not broken. You're just misaligned. You're giving your time, your heart, your energy to something that doesn't feed you back. And your soul knows it. That's why it's trying to get your attention through the only language it has, exhaustion. So before you call yourself lazy, pause and ask, what if this tiredness isn't physical at all? What if it's your soul's way of begging you to stop surviving and start living again? Because sometimes the heaviest weight you carry is the life that isn't meant for you. What if the reason the same pain keeps showing up in your life isn't bad luck, but a message you still haven't understood? You call it coincidence, different faces, different situations, same heartbreak, same disappointment. But what if life isn't punishing you, it's teaching you? Every repeated lesson is a mirror showing you the pattern you refuse to break. That friend who betrays you again and again, that relationship that feels like déjà vu, that opportunity that slips away just when it's close. It's not random. It's a cycle designed to wake you up. Life is like a patient teacher. It doesn't move you to the next level until you've learned what this one was meant to show you. The signs don't disappear because you ignore them. They repeat louder each time. The first time it hurts. The second time it breaks you. The third time it destroys your illusion that you can keep living the same way and expect something different. That's when the truth hits. You're not unlucky. You're unhealed. You're replaying old wounds in new forms, attracting the same chaos because a part of you still believes you deserve it. What if every heartbreak wasn't meant to break you, but to reveal what you keep accepting that isn't love? What if every disappointment wasn't life being cruel, but life saying, not this again? Learn and move on. The universe doesn't punish ignorance, but it doesn't reward denial either, so you face the lesson. The boundary you need to set, the truth you keep avoiding, the courage you refuse to claim, the pattern will stay. Because it's not the world outside you that needs to change, it's you. You see, repeated pain is just recycled awareness. It keeps looping until you decide to listen. That's why people say, why does this always happen to me? The answer is brutal, because you keep letting it. You keep mistaking comfort for peace, attachment for love, fear for loyalty. What if the moment you finally recognize the lesson, the cycle breaks instantly? What if the pain that keeps coming back isn't trying to destroy you, but to free you? Because maybe the universe isn't saying you're cursed. Maybe it's whispering you're ready to stop suffering. What if the chaos in your life isn't punishment, but preparation? What if everything falling apart is actually falling into place, just not in the way you expected? We've been taught to see discomfort as danger, to see uncertainty as failure. But what if the pain you're feeling right now isn't there to break you, it's there to wake you? Think about it. Growth never feels good in the moment. The seed doesn't bloom without breaking open. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly without dissolving first. The process of transformation always looks like destruction from the inside. We want comfort, but comfort keeps us where we are. Discomfort, on the other hand, forces us to evolve. It pushes us out of our illusions, our routines, our false safety. That heartbreak that shattered you, maybe it wasn't rejection, maybe it was redirection. That job you lost, maybe it wasn't failure, maybe it was freedom disguised as loss. Life doesn't take things away to hurt you. It removes what's blocking your growth. But when we cling to what's dying, the universe has no choice but to rip it away. And that's when it hurts the most. What if your pain right now is the proof that something bigger is being built inside you? You can't pray for change and expect comfort at the same time. You can't become stronger without being tested. You can't evolve without shedding versions of yourself that were never meant to survive your next chapter. The discomfort you feel, that anxiety, that confusion, that chaos is not your enemy. It's the sign that you're being stretched into someone new. Most people quit in the middle of their transformation because it doesn't look like progress. But what if the breakdown is actually the breakthrough? What if the darkness you're sitting in right now is just the space between endings and beginnings? The truth is, growth doesn't announce itself with peace. It arrives wrapped in pain, disguised as loss, hidden inside moments that make you want to give up. So maybe the next time life feels unbearable, instead of asking why me, ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because the discomfort you fear might just be the divine signal that you're becoming who you always meant to be. What if the voice you've been waiting for, the advice, the answer, the clarity has been inside you all along? We spend our lives searching for signs outside ourselves, a quote, a person, a miracle, something to confirm what we already feel deep down. But what if your gut has been screaming the truth and you've just been too afraid to listen? That uneasy feeling when something doesn't sit right, that inner pull telling you to leave, to start, to stop. That's not random. That's your inner voice, your intuition, your internal compass trying to guide you toward your purpose. We call it overthinking because we don't trust ourselves enough to believe that we already know. We silence it with logic, with fear, with the opinions of people who don't live our lives. And yet every time you've gone against that gut feeling, hasn't it proven you wrong? Think about the time you stayed when you knew you should have walked away. The time you said yes when every part of you whispered no. The time you ignored that quiet nudge, only to face the exact pain you were warned about. That wasn't coincidence. That was the cost of ignoring your truth. What if the reason you feel lost isn't because you don't know the path, but because you've stopped trusting the voice that's been showing it to you? We look for validation in others because it's easier to let someone else make the decision. That way, if it goes wrong, we can blame them. But growth doesn't happen in borrowed voices. It happens when you stop seeking permission and start following intuition. Your inner voice never shouts, it whispers. It's calm, consistent, and always there. But the more you ignore it, the quieter it becomes, until one day you can't even recognize what it sounds like anymore. That's when confusion takes over. That's when you start living someone else's story instead of your own. What if today, instead of looking for another sign, you just listened? You don't need another message from the universe. You need to trust the one already echoing inside your heart. Because the truth is, your inner voice isn't lost. It's just waiting for you to finally believe it's right. What if the coincidences you keep brushing off aren't coincidences at all? What if the universe has been trying to talk to you in a language you were never taught to understand? You see the same number everywhere. 11, 11, 333, 777, and you laugh it off. You keep hearing the same song, the same phrase, meeting people who carry the same message, and you call it chance. But what if those aren't random moments? What if they're patterns, carefully placed breadcrumbs from the universe, guiding you towards something you're meant to see, to feel, to realize? We've been conditioned to only believe what we can explain. But the truth is, the universe doesn't always send clear instructions. It sends hints, energy, repetitions. When something keeps showing up in your life again and again, it's not an accident, it's alignment. The more you ignore it, the stronger it becomes. The right person crosses your path at the exact moment you're ready. The same lesson reappears just when you thought you'd healed. The same idea returns to your mind, no matter how many times you push it away. That's not coincidence. That's divine timing. What if every repeated moment is the universe saying, pay attention, this matters? Those patterns are not there to entertain you. They're there to awaken you. Every synchronicity is an invitation to pause and reflect, to ask, why does this keep showing up? What is this trying to teach me? Because nothing in your story is random. The delays, the detours, the people who come and go, all of it is designed with purpose, precision, and timing beyond what your mind can comprehend. But here's the shocking part. Most people never notice it. They live distracted, disconnected, waiting for miracles while walking past them every day. The signs are everywhere, but they go unseen because we're too busy scrolling, comparing, doubting. Yet the universe keeps whispering, keeps nudging, keeps repeating, hoping you'll finally stop and listen. What if right now those coincidences that keep following you are not coincidences at all, but confirmations? Confirmation that you're on the right path. Confirmation that your thoughts are manifesting. Confirmation that your timing is divine, because maybe, just maybe, the universe has been speaking to you all along. You just weren't paying attention. And maybe now you finally see it. All this time, the universe hasn't been silent. You just weren't listening. Every whisper, every heartbreak, every repeated lesson, every sleepless night, every moment of discomfort, it was never random. It was a language written only for you, one that speaks through signs, energy, and emotion. The exhaustion was your soul begging for realignment. The pain was your growth in disguise. The coincidences were confirmations. The voice inside you, that was truth trying to find its way out. The signs were never missing. Your attention was. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves when it must. And when you finally start to notice the patterns, the whispers, the messages, you'll realize nothing was ever working against you. It was all working for you, pushing you toward your purpose, molding you into the version of yourself that were buried beneath fear, doubt, and noise. So if you've been waiting for a sign to change, to let go, to start again, this is it. The universe isn't sending you another hint. It's handing you a mirror and saying, wake up, it's your time. Good luck on your journey ahead. May you have the courage to listen to the quiet voice within you, the wisdom to see the patterns around you, and the strength to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for daring to look deeper. Because awareness is the first step toward transformation, and you just took it.